Lebanon President Michel Aoun has left office, leaving a void at the top of the failing state. The 89-year-old Christian president vacated the presidential palace this morning as dozens of supporters gathered to bid him farewell, wearing orange in order of his Free Patriotic Movement party. Parliament has so far been unable to agree on a successor to Aoun, which has the power to sign bills into law, appoint new prime ministers, and greenlight government formations before they are voted on by Parliament. Lebanon has been governed by a caretaker cabinet as the premier designate has been trying to form a government. Aoun presided over Lebanon's financial meltdown and the deadly Beirut blast. And joining me now is Professor Eyal Zisser, Vice Rector at Tel Aviv University. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Paint us a picture of what the Lebanon Aoun is leaving behind looks like.
Well, first of all, it's not the first time that a Lebanese president leaves office without someone to replace him. It happened in the 90s, in 2000, 2015, before he was elected. This is one thing. Second thing, the last move by Aoun was to dismiss the taker government. I mean, he announced that it's not legal anymore. But I would argue, with all due respect to the stature of the president of Lebanon, it's not really a country. It's a country in ruins. It's a failing country. That's how he got it. And he leaves behind not a better state, but I would argue even a worse state than he got to his hands 6 years ago.
Right, it's a very sad situation. Explain to us Aoun's legacy, a deeply divisive figure, adored by Christians, but also accused of enabling corruption and helping Hezbollah gain influence.
Well, the beginning was very promising. I mean, he was an officer in the Lebanese army. He joined forces with the Israelis. He has a very famous picture with Sharon when we got to Beirut in 82. Then in the early 90s, he became a symbol for many Lebanese for fighting the Syrians and Hezbollah and the Shiites and all the others. Actually, when he left Lebanon, this was the sign that, the Syrian took over. But then he came back when the Syrian pulled out. But instead of fulfilling the promises, instead of leading these liberal, pro-Western, pro-anti-Syrian camp, he joined forces with Hezbollah, form an alliance with Hezbollah, clearly with the aim of being elected as president. For that, you need the votes of the Shiites. And this was the end of the so-called legacy, a tool in the hand of Hezbollah, somebody who wanted to build a family in the Lebanese terms of family, rich family with resources of wealth. So here comes the issue of corruption. And all in all, he didn't have a real input, but we have to remember, we have to note that the last thing he did was to sign this agreement with Israel, maybe because he felt that it is in the interest of Lebanon, maybe because he felt that that's how mainly the West and the United States will look at him and at his family in much positive way, and this is always good for Lebanese politicians.
Professor Eyal Zisser, thank you very much for your insight today.